the first time in recent memory, we had a young man that came up with a business idea. One, has never been presented to me before, and two, I hadn't really thought about. So it's actually a new virgin idea. Now, whether it works or not, that's a horse of a different color, and we'll have to see. But as I told the kids, it was surprising that this idea would come to me, and it came from a young man from Norway. So we'll see. And of course, and I told him not to share the idea with the rest of the attendees, and he hasn't. And so as soon as everybody had a few drinks, the subsequent nights, they tried to get him to tell them what the idea was, but he didn't. So I'll keep you apprised that as he implements it, assuming he does implement it, which I think he will, how it works and if it works, after he's already got it running, so we don't take any glory away from him. But that's interesting that in all these years, I can think of the original thought on one hand, 5 fingers. But you don't need original thought because, as I've said, healthcare, telco, stroke, internet, there's countless deals. Another interesting point that came up, in 23 years, we've only had twice where the mentees, the QLA mentees, crossed paths. In other words, stepped on each other's deals. And in both cases, I was able to come up with a way that they both prospered. And in one of the two cases, the companies merged, both to the satisfaction of both parties. And the other one, we figured out a way to split up the market, which didn't really affect either side. But what I'm telling you is there is so much opportunity out there. And even though you think right now, we're putting out maybe 125 of the kids, 20 people times 5 or 6 seminars a year, and 120 times how many years I've been doing this, you'd think that the kids would have bumped into each other, but they don't. They haven't, and I wouldn't suspect that they will. Another question that was asked, and I stopped asking myself this many years ago, and why I was sure that I would not be doing this at age 70 after 23 years, is that I firmly believe, like everything else that works, that after a few years there will be other people copying this model and going out and training kids like yourselves to go out and roll up and compete. But as of today, the 24th of May, 2016, still nobody doing it. And as I was told by some of the gurus, they can't do it, Dan, for a number of reasons, not the least of which nobody's had the kind of success prior to me coaching, and so they can't use that as a model. I don't think that's going to happen. So I'm not too concerned that my goal is to continue to do this as long as I'm healthy and as long as I still enjoy it. Now, that's not to say that there's not a couple hundred mini-me's running around that have gone through my training. I've coached, I've mentored, some of which I've mentored more than a year, and they're out selling a version of QLA. They don't call it QLA, they call it something else. And it's or in a softer manner, a softer tone. They're not telling you that it's necessarily easy, because I tell you just the opposite. I tell you it's fucking hard. But they don't tell you it's not hard, but what they leave that part out, and what they do is they focus on you being fulfilled as a human being, as a person, which I can't help but chuckle when I say it even. and they don't focus on the ends of creating wealth. They lead you to believe that you can be happy and fulfilled as a person, and without having financial goals. So those are the mini-me's, a couple hundred of them, some of which are quite have quite large reputations, and they're luminaries now. And they have much bigger followings on Twitter, Facebook, than I do. Whereas my people follow me on those with those tools are the much smaller percentage, because I tell them that it's hard, and whereas some of the other guys that are doing similar things tell them it's easy, so they have hundreds of thousands of people on Twitter, and and in some cases millions. So, but they're selling a different edition, or a different kind, a softer, gentler QLA, and a softer, gentler, I guess, me, which there isn't much. It's too soft and gentle about me, but hope springs eternal, I'm sure, for all the mini-me's. And I've been asked whether I condemn, endorse, and or support any of the mini-me's. And I don't condemn them, but I don't support them. Some I have maybe a few kind words to say about, but most I just don't comment on. I leave that to your judgment. But I would ask you to measure them using some very simple benchmarks. Are they where you want to be? 1. 2, have they created wealth in the same world that you compete in every day? Or have they created wealth through giving seminars, selling product, etc.? And 3, I mean, are there devotees, luminaries? I saw a very interesting definition of leadership that I now use in the seminar. A true leader is a man, a woman, or it that has produced leaders that have produced leaders. And I'm pretty sure I can say with no hesitation that the kids out there attempting to do what I do may have produced some leaders, but to the best of my knowledge, they have not produced leaders that have then again go on and produce leaders. And using that one test of leadership, or that one benchmark, that eliminates an awful lot of people. Another test that the kids use, but it's self-serving, what I'm about to say, the kids say everybody else, you pay for their knowledge, and whereas I give it away free, except for the seminar, the pastor seminar. And again, it's because I want you to have skin in the game. I read several emails this last week of kids I've never met, ranging in age from 22 to 45-ish, that have done some pretty spectacular things vis-a-vis buying companies, creating wealth, and exits that I've never met, have no association with, and they have done it with the materials that are free. I got a email in that vein a few days ago from a gentleman that decided not to come to the seminar at the last minute for whatever reason, and he emailed me through Vinica, I think, that he had utilized the things that were on my site, and they really work. Now, speaking of really work, my friend, not in the friend sense, because I'm not really friends with Donald Trump. I know him and I've met him before. But he is kicking the shit out of the competition. And as of a few days ago, he is, for the first time, equal to, and in some polls, ahead of Hillary Clinton. And that's up like it's 47, 42-ish for Trump. And that's up from Hillary Clinton having 59 or 60, and Trump having 8 or 10 or 12 or 15 a few months ago. And once the convention has taken place for the Republicans and the Democrats, because Bernie Sanders is still fighting hard and continues to win states, I think that you're going to see Mr. Trump crush Clinton. And the operative word there is crush. And contrary to what the Democrats kept saying, our biggest happy dream is that Trump becomes the nominee for the Republicans, because they said that Hillary will win in a landslide. Well, with all the Trump haters, if you will, if he's doing this good, and he hasn't really turned his attention to Hillary yet, and he hasn't really made amends or peace with many of the Republicans he ostensibly pissed off, he's going around, just started to not say sorry, but look for ways so he can meet in the center or close to the center some very, very well-established Republicans. Not the least of which he met with Henry Kissinger recently, Robert Dole, former famous senator from, I believe, Kansas, who was the presidential nominee many years ago, and many, many others. As I said, that I don't agree with everything Mr. Trump says. I agree with many of these things, and I believe that he will be a very good president and not get the country, as many of you are afraid of, in trouble. Now, I don't plan on speaking about politics tomorrow at Oxford. I make the joke that this will be the closest I get to be to a Rhodes Scholar, which they seemed to miss me when they were picking Rhodes Scholars back in 1971 when I graduated from university. Maybe it got lost in the mail, my Rhodes Scholarship invitation. For those of you that don't know, Rhodes was a famous guy who I believe he invented dynamite, and he left a gazillion dollars to Oxford University to fund a special scholarship in his name about 100 plus years ago. And somehow they overlooked me in the nomination process. Maybe I'll get one retrospectively that it was lost in the post. But I will be on Oxford campus, and I'm looking forward to it very much. And I'm looking forward to seeing what the kids kind of questions they ask me. Now, I know what the QLA devotees that are going to be allowed to fill up the room with the, but now, as it turned out, Oxford looks like they could fill up the room all by themselves, and they're probably sorry that they said I could have a few of my mentees and devotees that are in the London area attend. Now, I have some flying in from various parts of the world to hear me speak for 90 minutes. And so I thank them, but whatever I'm going to say, I've said on the podcast or I've written in a newsletter. So, but I'm looking forward to it. And I also fully suspect interest rates have got to start going up sooner than later. And the first few times they raise it, it's not going to affect your ability to get money, but right now it's essentially free money. And on that free money comment, I'll bid you adieu, and I'll thank you very much, and I look forward to when we come back. Peace.